After 2 weeks off as well from the British Grand Prix, we now head into a back-to-back. It's late July and it's into the summer break. Welcome to the Hungaroring in Budapest for the 2024 Hungarian Grand Prix. So it's round 13 of the season as well. Lewis Hamilton victorious last time out. Then we end July with the Belgian Grand Prix in a week's time for the summer break. August sees us in the Netherlands before September takes us to Italy at Monza, then Azerbaijan and Singapore. October takes us as well to the United States at COTA, then Mexico. November sees us in Brazil, Las Vegas, and then in December it's Qatar and Abu Dhabi, the last 2 races of the year. In the Drivers' Championship, Max Verstappen leads on 255 points, Lando Norris on 171. Charles Leclerc now moves up ahead by just 4 points to his teammate Carlos Sainz. Oscar Piastri jumps ahead of Sergio Perez, who's now down to 6th. George Russell is now a point clear to Lewis Hamilton, both winning the last 2 races. Alonso and Stroll rounds out the top 10. On the second page, Nico Hülkenberg 2 points ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. Danny Ricciardo has 11. Behrman, after his Saudi Arabia debut, still on 6, now the same as Pierre Gasly. Kevin Magnussen has 5, Albon on 4, Ocon on 3, Zhou still on 0, but Sargent jumps ahead with a better result than Bottas, who now drops to last in the driver's standings. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull lead the way, 373 points to Ferrari on 302. McLaren are clear to Mercedes in the top 4 battle. Aston Martin are clear as well to RB. They're in a battle with Haas on 27. Alpine have 9 to Williams' 4. Sauber still on 0 points in the Constructors' standings. Let's take a look at the Hungaroring in Budapest. 2.738 miles, 14 turns in total. They describe this place as Monaco without the barriers. Just the 1 DRS zone and 14 corners, but it's a fan favourite. Good exit out of the last corner and then booted hard on the run down towards turn number 1. Now it's a downhill braking zone as well, and it's quite treacherous in the wet, so take a long sweep in, 3rd gear, inside line. You're already on the power at the exit with the DRS open as you run down towards the kink at turn 2. It's all of a double apex hairpin. You sort of throw the car in and hope it sticks to the centre of the track. Kink at 3 rises you up the hill towards turn number 4. Right at the top of the hill, fast speed, down 2 gears, flick the car in, don't go all 4 wheels off the track. Now it narrows up as well. Up through 6, 7 and 8 chicane is really tricky. Single file, nasty bumps either side. It really unsettles the car. Now this is the most feared part of the track. Single file, quite quick, sort of Mickey Mouse, backwards and forwards. Think Maggotts and Beckett's, but a lot tighter. Out of turn 11 and 12, the car wants to open up and sing, but it's sort of held back. It's like you've got a dog on a lead. Down now in towards turn 12, flick the car in, back on the accelerator. Turn 13, lovely. Concrete inside, nice and slippery in the wet, but nice and dry and grippy coming in the race. Last corner, turn 14, similar to what we have at the Nürburgring. Flip the car in, take a nice tight line, a lot of power at the exit. You can keep up across the line, and that is a lap of the Hungaroring. Round 13 of the season then, and we can't wait to get started. This time last year, qualifying gave us a Lewis Hamilton pole position. We come into this Saturday with him just being victorious at the British Grand Prix. 6 winners in the opening 12 races, more than any we had in 2022 and 2023 combined. It's all to play for as we go into the last 2 races for the summer break. Welcome to the Hungaroring. And we are all set to get going as well. I don't know what's happened here on our computer monitors, so that's always a good thing. There we go. Hello. Welcome up. Cooler track conditions, cooler conditions everywhere. Track temperature just 39 degrees. Yesterday it was rocking up towards the 60s. Air temperature 26.7, so nice there as well. But a lot of cloud cover. Same here in the UK, which is brilliant news for us all. We're not going to boil like we did over the last few days. Alongside me in the commentary box for this session is Omi, while Megan gets ready to play hot potato with the Formula E qualifying coverage as well. That starts inside the next hour. And Omi already saw a great Formula 3 race this morning as well, and it's shaping up to be a really interesting Formula 1 race. Welcome to you for the first time this weekend on F1.
Yep, indeed, great to be here for Formula 1. Formula 1 right now is absolutely amazing. So many different winners. Of course, Mercedes on right now trying to make it 3 wins this weekend. So it's a completely wide open week. You look better even with Leclerc's crash yesterday. They seem like they have much more confidence going into this weekend. So they could be back in the mix. Mercedes, McLaren in there as usual. And then Red Bull, we always expect them to be strong. So this weekend is wide open.
Really is wide open. Anybody's got a chance to win, and everybody's keeping their eye on Oscar Piastri. The reason for that is a track where you can get your first ever victory. Damon Hill alongside Fernando Alonso, Jenson Button, Heikki Kovalainen and Esteban Ocon, to name a few. They've all claimed their first ever Grand Prix victories here, and there is a chance that Piastri could do it because McLaren were quick yesterday. Norris tops Friday, but Piastri having a few issues in practice one. Can he get back up there ready for P2? I mean P3.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see, but everyone is going to be hoping that they can now get all of the final preparation in, the final practice before we get into the crucial 1 hour of qualifying. So it's going to be a critical session coming up, and hopefully we'll get a better idea of how the pace is looking before we head into qualifying.
All getting set then in the next few moments, just to give you coverage details ahead of this weekend as well. Expect the unexpected, because we've got qualifying coming up at, 2:45 coming up for that one. That's at 3. As soon as we're over, we're going over to Formula E and their opener for all of the coverage. And also, there's a few more things coming on JB Motorsports over the next few days as well. So stay tuned for all of that. Some new channels coming up as well, ready for some other coverage of other series. Ready to go then. Here it comes. Practice 3 for the Hungarian Grand Prix. It is free practice 3 here at Budapest, Hungary for round 13 of Formula 1 in 2024. We spread across the globe with 24 Grand Prix, 6 sprint races. Now we're in the 2 before the summer break. Budapest is made up of 2 different cities and 3 different landmark areas as well. Buda and Pest forming this. It was the first race behind the Iron Curtain in 1986. It's a 4.381 kilometre circuit, that's 2.722 miles. Top speed over 200 miles an hour, that's 323 kilometres, 14 turns. Elevation is high, 34.63 metres. And with it comes some of the softest tyres of the year. It's the C5 Red Soft. The medium C4 is about 5 to 6 tenths a lap slower. And the white hard C3 is 1.3 to 1.5 seconds a lap slower. We welcome you up to the commentary box for the first time in this session as well. All set to go and all eyes on what could happen in this free practice session, because everybody knows what we could have. It could be Red Bull finally unleashed their upgrades that they've been saying is some more radical alterations, and it could be that the wind comes in and completely changes everything and throws it Ferrari's way with their new upgrades to the front wings as well. Track temperature though, that's at 39 degrees. Air temperature as well, that's at 26 degrees, but the wind has picked up. It's at 5 kilometers, Omi, so a bit of cloud cover, bit of wind, still warm and muggy, but they're better conditions than what we had yesterday, where across Europe we're all baking in the heat waves that we had.
Indeed, it was absolutely baking yesterday as well. Out there on the circuit, wherever everyone is in Europe, it was absolutely hot. And yeah, was a tough day yesterday. At least it's a bit cooler today, which should make it a little bit more interesting and a little bit different to yesterday. So I think easier on our side and the drivers as well.
Absolutely, as we're waiting for all our systems to come available. Remember, we're still experiencing issues due to the global outage caused by CrowdStrike. Some FOM systems are effective, timings on boards as well. F1 TV just about making it on. So Sainz topped practice 1 in the Ferrari. Norris topped practice 2 at 1:17 was his time. He was fastest overall on Friday. His teammate Oscar Piastri has a chance to win. Could be anyone to go for. Let's go down to Ted Kravitz in the pit lane.
To a much cooler Hungaroring pit lane than we had yesterday. And for the second race in succession, it's Lando Norris, Somerset's Lando Norris, who heads into the first, final practice really before the first qualifying session, the only qualifying session of course, of this weekend, as the man to beat. Yes, you heard me correctly. Not Max Verstappen, not Lewis Hamilton, not George Russell, not the Ferraris, Lando Norris, who was quickest yesterday and is the favourite, Crofty, make no bones about it, going into qualifying. Certainly over single lap pace, we'll see in the race on Sunday, but it's been a slightly, how should I put it, fevered, quick, panicked? No, panic is too much of a word for it, but quick work on his car going into this session. There was something on the floor that they needed to fix. It wasn't quite right. The floor was late going on. Everything was late being buttoned up. Lando was sat on a little stool on the front right of his car. It's been moved now. There's no point looking for it, Kieran. And looking at the work going on. And Lando was thinking, when is this work going to be finished? But I'm happy to report to you that it is finished. Lando is settled, getting his balaclava, getting that wonderful helmet on, soon to be seen, which is depicting the Hungarian porcelain pottery and the trophy of last year, and he'll be ready to go. So a little bit of late work to the floor, Crofty, but it's all done now.
Thank you very much, Ted, and the session is gearing up for its start shortly. As the green light goes on, we're underway for practice 3 here in the Hungarian Grand Prix weekend, because I've got qualifying on the brain, because we all want to see what the times are going to be. Expect, I think, Omi, starts on some slow laps, and then towards the end of the session we'll really see the quali simulations.
Indeed. So we're going to start to see quality simulation soon as well. There is that 40% chance right now at the moment of risk of rain for qualifying as well. We shouldn't be hit with rain during FP3, but that could throw qualifying wide open on a weekend where we didn't expect to be, where we didn't expect any rain to be coming near us. Of course, there was a hailstorm around this circuit earlier on in the week, but we weren't expecting any on the race days, and it seems like that possibly there is a little bit of a chance on qualifying. We'll get a further idea when we move closer towards that qualifying session with where the rain is coming our way.
Yes, absolutely, because on Thursday it was just drying out, but there was rivers across the track still from the night before. The humidity helped blow it up again and get it back to normal, but Wednesday, as you say, just horrendous. The track was flooded, the pit lane was flooded as well, and they had to put sandbags in front of the entire pit boxes. So if it does rain, I don't think the wet tyres will cut it. Toronto's had serious rain as well, and they've had a tornado blow through. Part of the track that we use was flooded. They've managed to do amazing work, but I still think that at least the Toronto IndyCar race should have been cancelled because the emergency services best dealt elsewhere, with some people have been affected as well, including one of our own from Matthew Burrow at Grid Network, who's got family in Toronto Let's take a look at the car performance from Bahrain to Silverstone. Red Bull's still the fastest, but McLaren and Mercedes have gained 0.2 of a second. Ferrari and Aston Martin, Ferrari's lost 0.2, 0.3 lost for Aston Martin. Williams have gained 0.08 of a second. Alpine, though, the biggest of the lot, they've gained 4.5 of a second over everybody else in the field. Haas have lost 1/100th. RB have lost 2.5 of a second, and 1/10.5 has been lost from Kick Sauber as well on that graphic. That's a great graphic, actually. We'll need to get that up on our race day coverage as well and actually get to show you it all. But Red Bull's still the fastest from McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Williams, Alpine, Haas, RB and Sauber. That is apparently what it is. And I know why that graphic's been put on. It's because Ruth Buscombe is in the F1 TV commentary box alongside Alex Jakes, and he'll be talking with her about that as well. Is Jakes trackside? Do we know? I have no idea.
I would... Well, let's work out Alex Brundle's trackside.
Yeah. Alex isn't trackside, I know that.
This week.
That's a point. We'll have a look and see if he's... I always like Instagram. That's a good one to go for. Ralph Schumacher, of course. Nico Rosberg alongside David Croft. Let's have one of them.
Are you like Ted, like waving to someone back at home?
I got
there?
TV time, so I got to say hi.
He's gone and bought a new shirt, ladies and gentlemen, and he's going to make the most of it today for some TV time. Yeah, that revised floor, Ferrari are hoping, are going to bring them just up a little bit as well. But I think that tells a great tale of the opening 12 races of the season.
Of course, you have this natural ebb and flow from race to race anyway, which makes it quite difficult sometimes to pin it all down to just one upgrade here for the last race and who lost time and who gained time. Even if you didn't touch the cars at all from start to finish of the season, you would see naturally, like we see in F2, for example, the same cars amongst all the teams, just who sets it up in a different way for different circuits, and some drivers go better or worse at different tracks as well. We mentioned before, I think it was you, Nico, saying Lewis, you know, he's strong around here. Silverstone's another one of his great circuits, as is Austin as well. So it kind of muddies the waters, in a way, trying to decipher, is it everything to do with the upgrade or not? But Ferrari certainly looking, for what it's worth, a bit stronger here so far.
Anyway, Nick.
Yeah, it does look indeed like Ferrari are the strongest category as well. So they're still going to be pushing. There's Logan Sargent, 16th in practice 1, 12th in practice 2 as well. What do you think, Omi? Sargent got a chance of points this weekend. It's a track that could gift it to him. We saw he was quickly here last year.
Yeah, definitely quick here. Last year has had some good run as well in the feeder series a few years back as well. So it could be a good result for Logan Sargent, but he'll need a little bit of luck here and there if he does want to find himself up into those places. But yeah, always great to see Logan Sargent possibly in his last season, is almost likely in his last season now here in Formula One as well, if he can end it on a little bit of a high.
He's no longer 21st in a 20-driver championship as well. He is up to 20th with his 12th place finish at Silverstone, and he's ahead of Valtteri Bottas, who's dropped to last in the drivers' standings as well. Just to show that to you now, actually on our screens, if you've just joined us, picking up our TV pictures alongside the session, here it is. Sargent now 20th with Bottas in 21st. Now, if you don't have any points in the Drivers' Championship, or you are level on points like Behrman and Gasly are, it all determines about who, A, has had the best position. So Sargent's 12th beats Bottas's 14th. And then, in the case of Behrman and Gasly has only got those 6 points over finishing in 8th and 9th and 7th, whereas Behrman finished in 6th, so got points better. So it changes the situations going forward. And there is that graphic that we were on about just before the session started, just on the top there in terms of who has the best cars at the moment, if you can read that on your devices, with Red Bull, McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Williams, Alpine, Haas, RB and Kick Sauber in the differentials at the moment as to who has the development race. Great stuff, I think, as well, that the field is now starting to close in together, Romy. That's exactly what we kind of needed to see.
yeah, great to see that the field is closing in, and I think we're going to be in for a similar situation to the last regulations as well, where in the last season it's going to be wide, it's going to be completely wide open, and then we'll change regulations again, and then someone else will take a step forward. But this time it's going to be, I think, I think this time it's going to be more than 2 teams, possibly could be 4 teams in total, maybe even 5 if Aston Martin can try get it together. So yeah, it's going to be close, but yeah, it's going to be like that. We're going to go into the final year of this regulation set, and it's going to be completely wide open for the title, and then we'll have a new regulation change and someone else will take a massive step forward.
Yeah, and my bet on that would be McLaren. They've got their new wind tunnel coming through and seem to have the best understanding. And with Adrian Newey leaving Red Bull, the Active Aero era, whoever gets Adrian Newey pretty much might have the championship. So Ferrari certainly looking to be the bet at the moment. Williams also, if they've got the funding, that could be an option. It's going to be all to play for. Only one time realistically set on the board, now 2. Verstappen's 118.897 and Perez's 119.159. Now, all on the hard tyres. We've had drivers go out and do a lap and come back into the pit lane on mediums and hards, but no one wants to set banker times in this session. So the different conditions, I don't think is helping what we had, because are they expecting the rain for qualifying later? Because it could come in any second. We know it has a chance to as Verstappen crosses the line now with a 118.312.
Yeah, so the rain could come in, and it is deciding somewhat and dictating some of their run plan as well. But yeah, with the rain possibly in the air, something else than what we didn't plan for this weekend. Teams are going to be looking to try and adapt a scenario that they could find themselves in hours time when we do run qualifying. Sonoda 8th in practice 1, further down in after 51 minutes to go on the clock. Only Red Bulls have set the time right now. Everyone else just in the garage, sitting around right now, waiting to head out there. But yeah, a bit more of a quiet start to FP3.
Yeah, a lot of lag for Momi and me today as well. It was fine in Formula 3, and it's his box. It's there for a second.
Yeah. Just the middle sector in some corners, I'm understeering a bit much, but at the same time, I don't have like massive amount of rear grip, you know, so I don't know if I really should take more front flap.
So Max doesn't know how the setup wants to be with the car. He's having several issues with it. So that'll be adjustment coming through. It's just small tweaks ahead of the cars being locked down and homologated in after qualifying. Since the cars leave for Q1, that's it. You can't make any more setup changes to the car unless it's a change of climatic conditions between qualifying and the race, where, say, it rains and dries out for Sunday. That's what you've got to do. That's when you can change it. You can change brake ducts, you can change setup, ride heights, just to make sure anything's okay. So you just got to wait for the change of climatic conditions to be designed in. Here is Lewis Hamilton, who is not in a hurry to head out onto the track right now. He's talking with Peter Bono. He's a race engineer, who I don't think Bono is off to Ferrari next year because of the anti-compete clause in the contract. So at least for a year, Lewis might have to work with somebody else, not Bono. So they'll find it through. And it's a bit boring, this session, isn't it, Omi? So far, we're 12 minutes in and nothing's happened. This is quite, yeah.
Boring as well.
Toto's on the phone. He's calling Susie.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Why do we have this third practice session? This should be a half an hour session, if anything, not an hour. Don't need this.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, keep Friday
I
as
think
it
this
is.
can be
Yeah.
an hour.
In fact, do you know what I'll do? Free practice 1 is 1 hour. Free practice 2 is 45 minutes. Free practice 3 is 30 minutes. And there you go. There's your time.
Perfect.
Get smaller and smaller each time. I don't see why we need the full hour. No one's out on the track. And this keeps happening at Grand Prix as well, unless it rains. The only one out there right now is Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only one.
Yeah, Red Bull having to work very hard right now at this stage of the season because they've got contenders coming left, right, and centre. McLaren, Mercedes, those contenders, Ferrari trying to be it this weekend as well. So yeah, they're going to be looking to try and work hard down at Red Bull.
Brad asks, what's my second favourite motorsport? That's a hard one to answer, actually. I just like motorsport. I think Formula 1's definitely the top for me. Yeah, Formula 1's definitely the top for me. I do like MotoGP.
Oh, come on, give us a second. Give us a second.
It'll probably be MotoGP. Because despite... Do you know what? I've been sat on this for a week now. I spoke to so many people at the Superbikes, and Dorna owned the Superbikes as well. But I also spoke to the doctor, the man who created all the stats for MotoGP and started recording them. And he wasn't very favourable to Dorna. The journalists weren't favourable to Dorna. The filmographers weren't favourable to Dorna. In fact, nobody I spoke to had a good word to say about Dorna at all at the Superbikes. And that's something that I thought, okay, that's good news then. It's not just me. Everybody hates Dorna. And let me tell you something, everybody can't wait for Liberty Media to take over the sport. Everybody can't wait. So it's not just me. Everybody hates Dorna. Yeah.
Brad said you spoke to Valentino Rossi?
No, not Valentino Rossi. No. It's the doc. I can't remember his name in full because I met a lot of people, but he was the doctor who created all the stats for MotoGP. So he started recording them back in 1987, and retroactively created all the stat sheets and did so until 2017. Right, let's head over to BBC Radio 5 Live then and get all this sorted. I think I just do motorsport, to be fair. I think Formula 1 is always at the top. MotoGP, I say, will come second. Touring cars is good. Formula E. I enjoyed. They were sort of the four I started with. Everything else just sort of came afterwards as well. Let's head over then to Harry Benjamin, who is on the BBC Radio 5 Live commentary as we prepare and have a little bit of a break up here.
Driver, these little details can switch on an element of performance that might be lacking at the moment. So why not give it a go? The alternative is a Perez that is so far behind a teammate it's almost inconsequential, if not a major negative. So roll the dice.
Roll the dice, says Mark Priestley. 45 minutes and 40 seconds remain of free practice 3. There's actually not that much going on the track. Max Verstappen is pumping in the lap times, though, to be fair. He's just gone even quicker, over 3/10 up on his own time. He's now into the 117s, a 117.9338 on the hard tyre. He's the only one out on track, bar Esteban Ocon, who has only just gone out in his Alpine on an outlap, and he's stuck on the soft tyre. Everybody else...
Oh, they've gone. Great. Freezing even from them. Stroll, Ocon joined Verstappen out on the circuit. Yeah, okay. That's an alarm. Let me just turn the TV picture off, see if that loads 5 Live quick enough.
Is still in the pits. Indeed, only 9 drivers have actually ventured out for any kind of lap at all. Everybody else has stayed in the pits.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's very limited activity. It is very different conditions, but these you'd think might be closer conditions to what we might see later on for qualifying than we saw yesterday in terms of when it comes to temperatures. And as we heard Andrew talk about earlier, the temperatures can play a major role in whose car tends to suit it. Better. The Mercedes clearly has been working better in lower temperatures than the really extreme high stuff. So, yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. We will see everybody out. We've still got 45 minutes on the clock. We are going to see people rolling out of the garage shortly. But yes, a little bit of hesitation at this point.
Yeah, Stroll's just come out as well in the Aston Martin. So slowly more and more starting to come out on track. Let's park Perez for the moment, because it's so easy to talk in length about the Mexican driver. I want to talk about McLaren, your old team.
Yeah.
They are on a mission, it seems, over the last few races. Once again, 2 years on the trot, a development upgrade has seen their prospects transform, and they really have this upward trajectory going on. There has been a bit of scrutiny on them, though, in the last few races, and particularly, I think, at the British Grand Prix. We've said it before in other circumstances that Lando Norris should have won more than one race so far this season, but I think the British Grand Prix was probably a real opportunity that McLaren, the team, did make a tyre strategy error in the final stint. What is your view on what's happening there at McLaren at the moment?
So I would agree. I think there's been a number of races in recent times where they could have done things differently and potentially won a race. I think Canada was another one. I know that some will say that the timing of that safety car was unfortunate. I don't believe that. I think it made their decision a little bit tougher, but I still think they could have made a different decision that would have given them a much better shot of winning.
Do you know, I agree there as well with Mark Priestley, as we see Esteban Ocon slide at exit turn 3. I really do agree there, because Canada was a situation where they pitted and they got it wrong by a few seconds because they didn't pit on the same lap. So it was a reverse Miami. And I don't know, McLaren's strategy just keeps failing. But we criticise Ferrari about it, but McLaren are becoming the ones who are throwing away races. It's like they can't remember how to think about it and how to actually get strategy. Silverstone was a joke. Lando was leading and he messed up the pit stop.
Yeah, it's just been very, very crazy, to be fair, for McLaren. And they do need to try and get it together, because they've had many chances. You could say even they've had the fastest car on some occasions, but they haven't been able to do anything with it due to the strategy department failing with it. So yeah, Ferrari got a lot of criticism for it. When McLaren continued, then they will also follow suit as well.
Alexander Albon's on a lap time, driver whose future is secure at Williams as well. I was very surprised, actually. I thought he would be up for a shout at going over to Mercedes, with his manager being so closely involved in it, and they want Albon in there. Albon's up by 71 thousandths on Verstappen's time, who's done on the hard tyre, that 1:17.938. Albon is on the soft tyre, so remember the gap between them is around about a second, 1 to 1.2 seconds a lap difference on those tyres. Alonso jumps to second, 1:17.994. Bottas third, 1:18.206. Stroll fourth, 1:18.447. Gasly goes into fourth now as well with a 1:18.432. So times starting to become more relevant here, as Albon, very good first and second sector as well.
Indeed, so they'll be pushing on right now at the moment. So finally the track, we have an active track with lots of cars out there. Verstappen still at the top of the timing sheets as well, as we see them all continue to make their way to Alonso quickest of all in the second sector. He will be going for the line soon, and then it's Albon who has set the fastest first sector time so far.
So Albon from Verstappen and Sargent third. Williams are 1-3 in this session. Somebody stop the clock as well, because that's great for them on a scene where they've hosted so many victories here in Formula One. Williams, as George Russell, who had his first ever career pole here in 2022, briefly top before Lando Norris takes it and goes top with a 1:16.931. Hamilton looking for some improvement as well, as he dithers into turn 2 downhill, snap at 3 and then uphill to 4. Wants his first sector time on the soft combat. A lot of sparks on the aluminium box as well. Once he's out in sector, 3 turns down on Norris's time. So it's a 1:16.9, fastest of the weekend so far for Lando Norris once again. So already in just 20 minutes, we're getting faster and faster and faster. Piastri goes second, 1:14.4, quicker than yesterday's time as well. Right.
Indeed. Can I have pictures, please?
Sorry.
Lovely.
There you go.
Brilliant stuff. So Hamilton's pushing on then right now as well. 4 tenths behind Norris, as Sainz goes to 5th.
1:17.707 for him. Hamilton, third gear. There's the CrowdStrike logo. I would have thought they might have taken that off after what they've caused over the past 24 hours. Bells are ringing. Hamilton goes third, 1:17.519 for him on the Delta lap. So it's actually, somebody actually do stop the clock, because it's a Mercedes-powered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. very decent times there at the moment. That's brilliant from them. And this is Carlos. Is it? Yep, locking up. No, it's Charles Leclerc locking up down to turn 1. Now, Ferrari have actually been told by their FIA they need to adjust their letterings because we can't identify the numbers. So they've been told to adjust it. Here's Kevin Magnussen. Bumping over the curb at turn 7. So, just a reminder, we'll be handing back to BBC Radio 5 Live at around about 12:15 for a few moments while I set Megan up for the opener of the Formula E. Piastri's back into the pit lane. Leclerc going stronger and stronger in this session. And it's under Martin Brundle this morning as well. But he'll be in qualifying, no doubt. Leclerc rambling up massively up to turn 4. His middle sector time 5/10 down on Norris. Oh, big snap again! Now, Charles Leclerc had an accident at turn 4 yesterday where he got over the rumble strips and it flicked the car towards the barrier, and exactly the same nearly happened, but this time Leclerc saves it. So his first sector's of 28.356. This is his first push lap on these soft compound tyres, and he's 1.1 seconds down. So this is Leclerc's first lap time in this session. His previous one was a 1:51.949. It's his first lap at the
Indeed.
pits.
I was just sending a quick little message as well to AJ. Leclerc then has to come over the line. 17th position for him as he tries to regain confidence after yesterday's crash, because Ferrari has some good pace this weekend. He needs to try to turn it around because ever since Monaco, it has not been going Leclerc's way at all.
It has not, and this was the moment at turn 4. Watch the exit curb. Oops. And he's done better than we did yesterday, but that was almost a carbon copy.
Very nearly a carbon copy, but it seems like Leclerc has sacrificed his whole season for that Monaco win as well.
I think he would have, I think he knew the championship was done. I think he'd sacrifice everything for that. And down to Ted then at Oscar Piastri's garage.
If yesterday
So
was
you've
anything...
not moved from McLaren then in 22 minutes?
I have, no. I've been down to Haas. I've had a look at Alpine, and they're rebuilding some front wings. Did you know how many spare front wings Alpine have and how different they are? They've got about 3... Yes, they've got 4 spare ones, and they're about 3 different specs of front wing, and they're all completely different. It's astonishing. I've been down to Haas. I've been down to see the Apex garage, what they're doing. They're not filming at the moment, but their cars are sitting there. I've been everywhere, Crofty. Oh, look, you see, you've got an off.
Gasly radio.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened, but...
Completed a time left behind.
And that's why I leave the commentary to you, Crofty.
That was great timing.
Don't come in with too much when you've got stuff to talk about. But I have something to talk about now, which is another change to Oscar Piastri's car. So, the guy who spent a lot of time, unwanted time in the garage yesterday, the Australian, is back in it again. Lando's just had a calm weekend. And nothing really much happening, hasn't had to do much to the car. They've had some aero paint on the back of Lando's McLaren, but still now some work going on the back of Piastri's car. So when is he going to settle on a setup he wants? Talking of which, George Russell at Mercedes saying the grip is just getting better as the run goes on. But I don't know how you haven't heard any Hamilton radio. Just whether that squares with what you're seeing with Hamilton not being able potentially to get the car in the space that he likes after yesterday, which was, well, as he said himself, not the best day.
No, and not the best morning so far either. Back to that Pierre Gasly lockup, Nico Rosberg.
I was just saying that, yeah, with Pierre Gasly locking up there in turn 1, that's one of the horrible things that can happen in FP3 because it ruins your set of tires, which is so important prep at the moment.
Oh,
what a battle!
No.
Ruining
Oh
things.
my word.
Sainz trying to go on the outside of a dithering Hülkenberg, who comes through at turn 13 and doesn't even know he's there. Sainz again causing issues out there. I'd love to see all clear from behind. So he was told all clear on the radio. Hülkenberg says Sainz, you're going really, really slow. Yeah, copy as well. So, yeah, Science, they do not like it. They really didn't on that radio. I was seeing on the AI transcripts. So I want to see that in the replay again. But Science and Hulkenberg nearly causing contact.
Indeed, as Carlos Sainz continues then the run up the hill, down through turn number 4. A 10th.5 down on Lando Norris, the pace setter right now at the front of the field, ahead of the 2 V-Carbs that are Ricciardo, ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. So Sainz makes his way through the middle part of the lap right now. And currently, we are also yet to see whether we are going to see a continuation from the kick sabers of Joe after the Good Friday in FP1. But, of course, had that big moment. Lucky to keep it out of the barrier, unlike Leclerc, though, when he made his way through turn number 4, had a close moment with Perez. While doing so, Sainz about to come to the end of the lap now, as he makes his way through the 14th and final turn, and then it's foot to the floor all the way to the line. Let's see where he can go. He'll go behind Norris.
3.5 tenths off the pace there for Carlos. 117.289. Definitely got some room for improvement. Ferrari watch on, a bit bemused as to what is going on out there at the moment. Great news is that Verstappen and Perez might still have some time to find. Right, here's the replay. Is this at 4? Yeah, Sainz having the same thing as Leclerc, snapping on the exit at turn 4 and almost throwing it in towards the barrier. That's going to be a major spot to watch in qualifying the race to see if anybody, when pushing to the absolute limit, has that off-track excursion.
Indeed. So do keep an eye out for off-the-road moments, especially if it does rain in qualifying later on. The chance of it raining definitely has increased massively from what we had earlier on in the weekend.
It's growing and growing and growing, and you can see that rain coming in as well to come into it. Hello to dear Nat, who says with the arm up, nice to see you again. Good morning, everybody. So, yeah, I'm so happy, by the way. When's the Olympics start? Is it next week? I think it is, isn't it? Yeah. Got some few things around. We'll be on USRN for some of that Olympic coverage. As a heads up. Charles Leclerc goes third, 117.301. So, here we go. Which team is the most successful at this track? For a bit of track trivia. Williams. Oh, McLaren, 11.
Oh, McLaren.
Okay. I would have thought Williams.
Well, can they make it 12 then?
Certainly not. Well, McLaren haven't won here in the past 10 years. So it makes you think, doesn't it?
Russell to the top.
Let's have a quick look on my stat sheet here to see if there's anything. It's Russell does 168.26, you say, Obi? Yeah, Senna won a couple of them here as well. 11 wins for McLaren, wow. Now, 1986, this is the 37th Grand Prix event here. 29.29 to go. On board with Russell.
Indeed. And of course, Aaron, that was sacked from the academy, signed by the Apex team as well. Apex GP, signed by them as well. So that was very interesting. Their socials on Twitter.
Are you just trying to get into the film by doing your own PR things with commentary?
My word.
Brad Pitt's here this weekend. Doing some more filming. Yeah. Got no room for 11th team on the grid. Oh, you want to make a movie? Sure thing. Come on in. Come on in. Oh, why does... Okay, our Toto and Susie, your Toto and Susie. So can I just ask why Toto looks like that? But there's Toto all smiling and enjoying what he's just seen. And gives the camera a little look. Surely,
brilliant weekend for Mercedes last time out.
Yeah.
With Antonelli's win, of course, and then Mercedes winning and the 1-2 quali.
Great weekend for them, as Piastri goes a small mistake there as well. Tell you one thing, why don't we have... Why? Surely, if you have any pets, you name your dog Toto. Because then it's just the Wizard of Oz, and you can make several jokes then about that. Seriously, name the dog Toto. I've got a still water bottle thing on my leg now. This commentary box, by the way.
Lovely stuff.
I don't know how to describe the commentary box, but it's getting worse with the amount of rubbish that's around. Piastri third, with the fastest third sector, 21.771, but goes up there with a 117.136.
Your commentary box needs constant cleaning.
Commentary box just needs to, yes, yeah. It's one of those things. Hulkenberg and Hamilton have set exactly the same time. I've just noticed. Both done a 117.492. Yeah, same time. And ironically enough, they are exactly 0.666 off from Russell. So, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, the devil's around. That's a great TV series. If anyone hasn't watched Lucifer on Netflix, that's a great TV series. Crime-solving devil.
I need to watch it.
Oh, it's fantastic. It really is. Season 3 is a bit long, but it gets better. One of my all-time favourite TV series is that. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. Don't get that often, actually, when it's a TV series that I like, and it's like... So Russell with a 116.826 still top. Only one information from race control in this entire session, and that was just green light, pit lane open. Nothing else has come through because of the technological glitches that we've been having. But then again, not much has actually happened. As we see Joe Granier with the video.
Yeah, but it's been pretty calm.
Yeah. This I don't know why we need. Sometimes I agree with it, but I don't know, the little heads-up display thing. They're testing it out right now. Do we get one for Esteban Ocon? Oh, huge lock-up for Yuki Tsunoda coming into turn 1. I do like the sprint race
F2 sprint
graphics.
could be interesting.
Yes. Is that going to rain?
Well, there's 40% for qualifying, so maybe the end of it, I don't know. We could be getting some rain, but if it does rain, then that could be very tasty.
Ted.
Carefully you prepare those tyres, but they're just finding the limit on that. Bear in mind that Hamilton also did go deep in a couple of the braking zones and lose some time on one of the previous laps that he's done in this session. So that might give you some clue as to the time difference between Hamilton and Russell. Some new tyres are going on both of these, but also let's bear in mind, do you remember after Silverstone, Crofty, that chat we had with Peter Bonington, Lewis's engineer, who was saying about how they'd worked through these practice sessions on methods and devices and plans to protect the tyres for Sunday? And that is what we're seeing. So would it be, I don't know, unthinkable that Hamilton could have put it on pole or Russell could put it on pole, given that that is what they, they do always prioritise tyre wear in the race down here at Mercedes. So one to bear in mind when we're going into qualifying later.
Listen, it's that close at the moment. It's not unthinkable that any one of the leading 4 teams could have a driver on pole at some stage later today. Sadly, it looks like Fernando Alonso's days of going for pole have come to a halt temporarily.
That's nice, isn't it? Yes. I think we've spoken about that before, actually, Adam. Who Adam says about, I loved the Wizard of Oz, one of my favourite movies of all time. And Adam says, one of my favourite TV series, I Being Served and Keeping Appearances. Now, as an American, that surprises me a lot, Adam, about that. But, yes, with the I Being Served and Keeping Appearances, certainly a household favourite here. Classic British sitcoms. I think we love them all. We used to have this channel called UK TV Gold, UK Gold, and it was all the comedies and dramas, everything that got put on. And, yeah, I don't think there's one we don't like. No, they're all pretty good. Personally, I don't like Mrs. Brown's Boys because I think it was funny when it was a series, but it's just been getting too much now. There's only so many times you can laugh about it. I don't know. Sometimes it gives me a chuckle. Anyway. I tell you what, I'm so just to cut across. Oh, ads, they've gone to an ad break. Never mind. They were going to shut me up anyway to come into it as well. While I get up the BBC Radio 5 Live, I want to say I'm very much looking forward to this Christmas where we've got it's like Christmas of a childhood. You've got Outnumbered, you've got Gavin and Stacey, you've got Doctor Who, you've got EastEnders. It's fantastic on BBC this year. Anyway, let's get to 5 Live.
Young driver, so they clearly wanted him in a car ASAP. But it's also important to remember that Antonelli has been, I don't want to say rushed through, but he's skipped Formula 3. He hasn't done Formula 3. He went from the level below, missed F3. They put him straight into F2. And that's a lot of pressure. And so even to be rubbing shoulders with some of the more experienced runners is probably quite a good thing.
Well, and also the team have worked with him. The Mercedes Formula 1 team have worked with him at tests. And as we've talked about before, that gives you a real insight that, there's no way you can just get from a set of results or lap times. It's how he works with engineers, how he deals with media, how he works with the team. These things are majorly impactful in your decision-making process. So they will have a far better insight than just his F2 results give the rest of us. And that will obviously play into the decision.
We talk about how good the engine might be, though, from Mercedes, and that's why Sainz would obviously be interested in going to a Mercedes and want to be that seat. But I do wonder, it seems to have gone cold now, that Williams seat for him. But I convinced myself that Williams were going to have this mega turnaround for 2026 because they've signed on to be, again, to have Mercedes engines. James Vowles is leading that team in a new direction. In the last few months, they've made 11 new hires in the aero department, 13 in the design department of Williams. They're trying to transform that Grove squad, which is outdated, but they are moving in the right direction. Albon is a
So, seems like BBC Radio Comms has disappeared right now at the moment. So while we try and get that back,
is proving to be very, very good.
There we go.
And I just think back to when we had the last big engine regulation change when we came into the hybrid era was 2014, and Williams were almost the second best team.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think Williams will be a major player because it's all like we touched on earlier. McLaren, when they were, struggling around the midfield, even at the back, let's not make any mistake, a few years ago, they were the last team a number of races. In the background, and I have a little bit more insight to this than other people, of course, a lot of my friends still there, I speak to a lot of people on a regular basis. I know and knew at the time there was a huge amount of work going on, particularly in the last 5 years, let's say, in terms of building the team, organising the structure of the team, investing in the infrastructure of the team. These are the things that build champions. Of course, you've got to turn out a great car and have great drivers and all the rest of it. Of course, you have to do those things, but it's all got to be underpinned by wonderful foundations. At the moment, Williams are building those wonderful foundations. I have total faith in James Vowles. He comes with huge experience. I think he's a very clever, intelligent man. He's worked under an amazing team culture at Mercedes, under great leadership, and has learned from all of that. If he's now putting that in place at Williams, at least even a part of what he's seen at Mercedes, we can expect some great things from that team.
Yeah, again, it just underlines how much there is to talk about off the track as well. 90 minutes, 53, 52, 51 seconds remain of the final free practice session ahead of qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And lots of work being done out on the track, lots putting in the lap times, especially Red Bull, who are really trying to gather data and to get on top of this big upgrade that they brought this weekend. Max Verstappen has put in 20 laps so far. He's still in the pits. The lap times aren't showcasing much, but they really are putting in the mileage. Perez is plumb last, but he's done 18 laps. So they are really trying to get on top of this. This is their biggest upgrade they've brought for the season for Red Bull.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they're being forced into doing this, aren't they? Because the competition's hotting up around them. If you go back just last year, they were so dominant, they didn't really have to upgrade their car. In fact, they could switch onto this year's car development way earlier than anybody else because there was nothing in the way of competition. But now there genuinely is, and it's great for the sport because it's pushing everybody, even the likes of Red Bull, who started the season so strongly. Now they're having to fight their way through this championship. And yes, the early rounds have given them such an advantage. We still fully expect Max to win this reasonably comfortably. But the picture going into next year and even the end of this year is so much tighter. So they're having to dig deep and fight and throw money and development time. And bear in mind, given the dominance of Red Bull, they haven't got the development time that others have. Their wind tunnel time, their CFD time, the sort of virtual development time in the sort of simulation world is so limited because they won the championship. So this is not the most straightforward fight for them up against others that are a little bit freer to bring more updates to their car.
Lewis Hamilton out on track at the moment. He's put the soft tyre on and is starting to push on this lap. Personal best in sector 1, makes his way through the turn 6 and 7 chicane, quick right, then left, and then you get into these almost long flowing medium speed corners in the middle sector through turn 10 left-hander, which bleeds into the right-hander of turn 11 before a short straight down towards the braking zone of the 90-degree right-hander of turn 12. Fastest of anybody in the middle sector is Lewis Hamilton. His teammate George Russell has just improved on his own lap time. Still fastest is Russell, a 1:16.5, but Hamilton is flying round the final corner, tries to keep it neat and tidy. The front end not quite biting though in that final corner. Let's see what it is across the line. Does find time, does improve, but not quicker than his teammate. 2/10 between the two Mercedes in the FP3. Russell ahead of Hamilton.
Yeah, look at that. So it's 2 Mercedes, it's 2 McLarens, and then it's 2 Ferraris, and then it's 2 RBs, by the way.
And then it's 2 Hasses.
Hasses, unbelievable. They call it the Noah's Ark, don't they, where they're all going 2 by 2. But it is a really good sign for Mercedes, and yes, these lower temperatures may well be really helping them. They have the cars in this modern era have a very specific tyre temperature window in which they operate. And if you're outside of that window, even by just a few degrees, you lose grip, you lose performance, dramatically so. And so the cooler ambient temperatures and the cooler track temperatures that they're experiencing today with a bit of cloud cover as opposed to yesterday, it was so hot, is really coming back into the strengths of the Mercedes car. Of course, if it heats up again, either later this afternoon, which I don't think we expect it to, or tomorrow, that might swing back towards others, the likes of McLaren or
So we've lost commentary momentarily once again. Should be back any second, hopefully, though. Lando Norris, though, attacking. He's got the fastest first sector, the fastest second sector right now at the moment. So what can the McLaren driver do? Lando Norris now heading for the line. It's a Mercedes 1-2, but not for much longer because 4.5 tenths of a second clear is the McLaren. And this was the changing point 1 year ago for the McLaren team. And Lando Norris now is a contender at the front of the field. So will he be able to stay there when we get to qualifying? Will McLaren be able to get the strategy right tomorrow on Sunday? As also Logan Sargent has gone up into 5th position. So I don't know if it's going to be that wide open. Albon goes into 3rd. Don't know if it's going to be that wide open, but we know it's going to be intense. We know it's going to be very close as well. Oscar Piastri is currently making his way through. We've just seen his teammate go to the front of the field, of course. What can Piastri do in that second sector? This is where we are getting the glory runs and Oscar Piastri down by 1.5 of a second to Lando Norris as he makes his way through turn number 13. Ricardo currently on an outlap, and we did have that situation as the BBC Radio 5 like commentary team were telling you, where it was a team followed by another team and then another team. And right now for McLaren, that is the case because Piastri has gone up to second position, the fastest last sector for the Australian driver. Stronger last season, of course, with the sprint win in Qatar, and it hasn't been as good as that for him when we've got in the title fight, or when McLaren have got into the title fight this year as well. Verstappen, we're about to get a response from him, so Norris's time and Piastri's time even might be a bit clear of the field, but we're about to see one of his main rivals and see how they are able to do as well. So that will be very interesting to see as we continue attacking here at the Hungaroring. Gasly making his way through the first sector. The fastest man in the first is Nico Hülkenberg. He has set a 27.252 in the second part of the lap. Gasly kicking up a lot of dust on the exit through turn number 4, which we saw Leclerc lose the car, find the barrier yesterday. And Joe also nearly doing the same. Hülkenberg is going very nicely, as I mentioned. He is about to make his way through turn 14. If you are synced up with us, though, we are currently focused on Gasly as he's attacking his way through the second sector. The McLaren beautifully out of the way of Oscar Piastri. Hülkenberg to the line, and Nico Hülkenberg, the German driver, to 5th position. Gasly a whole second down on Lando Norris. Hi, Josh.
Hi, you're a star. I was busy fixing Megan's launch for her Formula E coverage, which isn't as easy as it
Yeah, I
sounds.
noticed BBC kept cutting out randomly.
Yeah, BBC's having a bit of a tech issue, isn't it? So I'm glad that's happened. As I come across it, just trying to get Megan some live timing and all that lot. So, you know, it's about as easy as a chocolate teapot to control all of that. Not the greatest. 11 minutes. What a quick off, by the way, because me and Megan are playing hot potato. So what that basically means is that we are just swapping the commentary boxes between us throughout the qualifying session. It's just easy that way. It might be easier for me actually just to go upstairs and join her commentary box rather than swap over. So I'll go into her and she'll come in, and then this one just sort of stays where it is. That's the easiest form we can do it. Bottas to 7th, 1:16.804. Did I miss anything good when I was away?
You missed a lot of glory runs, that's all I'll say.
Right.
As well coming in. Lots of attacking laps from the drivers. Ricardo about to come over the line, he goes to 4th.
So 4th place on the board then, as they'll all come very quickly now to see who's going to have the fastest getaways. And Verstappen only manages 3rd fastest on a 1:16.379. I've got a feeling, that we're going to be in for like what could be the best qualifying of the season if that rain plays a factor at the right time. That's what I'm taking.
Indeed, and McLaren seem a bit ahead. Yeah, Verstappen, of course, came out on fresh tyres, but McLaren in this session right now, with the glory runs, here at the end with 10 minutes to go, do seem a little bit ahead of Max Verstappen, so a little bit interesting to see what's going to happen with that. Now, it's over to the Scarlet Ferraris to see where they come into play as well.
Very much his advantage them at the moment, isn't it, as they come into it. Ferrari need to up their game and up their attack modes. As, there we go. I've managed to get my timing screen operational for Formula E, so I can at least write down who's where. Here comes Ferrari then. Sainz is 11th and Leclerc 12th. They do not want another Q1 or Q2 elimination. Q2 keeps happening to Charles Leclerc, and it happened to both of them at the Canadian Grand Prix. SHT's here as well, saying now it's 171 days for the wait for Sainz's decision. Yeah. It'll be Williams. Always is Williams. It's got to be Williams. Half a 10th off, actually, as well. This is looking very decent for Carlos Sainz in the middle sector. He's still got some time to find. So, yeah, me and Megan playing hot potato with the commentary. What could possibly go wrong? Can I just point out as well that we're playing hot potato?
Everything.
Yeah. Sort of keeping my eye on everything as well to make sure it is. I haven't got the YouTube stream open either, and I'm worried. So I'm going to do something that I've never done before. Because Megan's not here, I'm sacrificing my big timing screen. I'm putting Megan's YouTube on there so I can just double check it's okay. Because the last thing I want is for it not to be, because I've already got a timing screen. Carlos Sainz comes to the line, goes into fifth on a 1:16.639. Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, Russell. So yeah, I've sacrificed my big monitor. But it's for the greater good. Oh, Leclerc only goes 10th, so interesting there, Romy, that Sainz is faster than Leclerc on the same tyre compound. And both didn't have bad laps. They were fine.
Indeed, so Leclerc seems like still recovering from that crash yesterday. He's already put himself on the back foot this weekend and has a lot of pushing to do in qualifying if he would like to beat his teammate. It's kind of been a run for those two teammates where the first half was dominated from Sainz, then basically then the few rounds before Monaco were all about Leclerc, and then it's back to Sainz again. So it all keeps switching and changing between those two drivers as well. It seems like they both can't be on form at once, as George Russell now goes attacking in the Mercedes. Of course, an unfortunate retirement for him last time out at Silverstone. Perez goes to 12th. He's a driver who needs to perform. He could be under pressure for that second Red Bull. So he may have the contract, but Red Bull still will be looking for other options. And there is a huge discussion right now on who could be those other options right now as well. With Yuki Tsunoda saying that he's definitely should be a contender, but Red Bull not really taking him as one of the main contenders for it.
I definitely would. Tsunoda, I think, has proved to me this season that he's a force to be reckoned with, and he's grown finally as a driver that we wanted to see since 2021. So this is his, fourth season in the sport? Get him into that main team. He's waited long enough. Oh, no, Russell.
Yeah. He deserves a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, what else would you like him to do? He's beaten Ricciardo for the majority of the season. What else can he do? You need to give Lawson some time as well in the V-Cup. So
it's been declared a wet yellow flag sector 2. It's Lewis Hamilton at turn 11 and 12. Lewis Hamilton is off, and he is at turn 9 and 10 in sector 13. That's where the yellow flag's at. It's a double yellow flag, and he is spun round. He'll continue on, and that is a lucky escape for Lewis, because that's a nasty part to lose it at. It's in the Mickey Mouse swinging section. You get it wrong there, and it flies you in. I want to see replays of that. We've gone green. Let's have a look then.
Interesting to see how he's looped it around. Here we go.
Exit curb on the grass, fixes it in. Just to get him in the cutback. He'll... just too much power. That's a simple pushing the limit.
Yeah.
Whew. Watch, turns in, the car's unbalanced.
I know you've not been too happy. Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, just went. I know you haven't been too happy with the Senate curb, so could we get your opinions on that?
I hate it. I said it yesterday in practice too, and I'll say it again now. The only two tracks on the calendar where you should honour Ayrton Senna for his 30th anniversary of his passing is Imola, which they did, and so did Roland Ratzenberger's tribute, and it should also be at Interlagos, his home race. Other than that, every other country that does it is profiting off his death and glorifying it. Not what you need to do.
Yeah, it's like every other week we're having it.
Yeah, and what about Gilles Bianchi? 9 years ago, 3 days ago, 9 years had passed since his death. Nothing here this weekend, matter. Not one. Just stop glorifying Senna's death. It's like, oh, it's so weird. It really is weird. Apparently it's a wet track in Formula E for London, so that's going to be a interesting situation as they come into it.
Is it?
Yeah, it says it came up as wet track on my timing monitor. Alexander Albon flying in. A lot of traffic on his run though as well. Ricciardo and Sonoda and one of the Hasses of Magnussen as well. So Albon got a lot of traffic down turn 2. They'll make him pay for that. Looks like I'll be joining for Group B and some of the duels at this rate. Still can't believe me and Megan are playing hot potato today. It's going to be quite funny. So basically, I'll just head up to the other commentary box. We'll leave here, I'll head up to the other box and come back down and so forth, so forth. Tomorrow should be a little bit easier because I think I'm commentating on the majority of the session while Megan hosts the pre-show. Over here for Formula 1.
Yeah. I could see this one going to rain to be honest, for F2. Just look at the clouds and stuff.
Well, rain comes in very quickly in Hungary. We've seen it before. Dithering on the line there. Gasly and Stroll just getting in the way. Albon goes 7th, 117.731. I agree with you, Omi. Looking at the clouds, that rain's coming in. When do you think Ferrari can finally win the championship? Because at this current moment, I don't think it's going to be that soon when Lewis gets there. Problem for Tsunoda is due to who else but Christian Horner. They don't rate him. Helmut Marko does. Horner doesn't. Horner wants Ricciardo back. So, until one of them goes, it's not going to work. In all honesty.
Marco rates Hadjar a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He absolutely loves Hadjar.
I think what Marco wants is Verstappen and Tsunoda in the main team with Hadjar and Lawson in the junior team. I don't think he likes that Danny Ricks there. Well, Joe.
Staying here, slow in,
Hydraulic problem then.
Sounds...
Zhou Guanyu with a hydraulic problem with a slow in and stay in gear. He is back in the pit lane now, and I can tell you he is now in neutral, so he has gone down to neutral. But they did tell him to stay in gear, so that's not great unless it auto shuts off to neutral. But that's a hydraulic problem then with the pressure that's been dropped. Ted's in the pits.
Engineers for Williams. They're both different for this weekend. They rotate at Williams anyway, but both Gaetan Jago for Sargent and James Owen for Albon are not here this weekend. So they've got a rotation, their other engineers this weekend, both drivers at Williams.
I'll go and find out, Ted, and find the names. That might come in useful for the race.
I have their names if you want them.
Oh, go for it, Ted.
Okay, so for Logan Sargent, it's Marco Fuga, and it's Ed Regan for Alex Albon. Sorry if I didn't include that in the original report. I thought for brevity I'd just say that they were different.
Oh, Verstappen's gone wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, finally, Max Verstappen makes an error, and he's gone wide at turn 1, Omi. So that's his lap time done. He's going to win this session. Where is he? 3rd position. Well, this is fun. The upgrades aren't working, are they?
Aren't working indeed for Red Bull. So McLaren look like the ones to beat. Norris versus Piastri for pole possibly. Could be interesting.
Check flag is out. Session is over. So let's see what we have and what we get hold of. This is Max Verstappen now. Locks up big time at turn 1, and he was on used 4-lap old soft tyres. So it's an old set they would have run in the session anyway, but yeah, not great to lock up and run straight on down there. Lando Norris going to top practice 3. God, isn't this getting exciting for Formula 1? Proper sports. Proper action again. Lando takes the flag and ends it top. Well, I mean, what was your moment of the session?
Brilliant. I would say definitely has to be when we were getting all the times in, seeing how who's looking good, who's looking maybe not so good, and it leaves us with a wide open Q3 and qualifying session coming our way. But we've got a wide open F2 sprint coming our way soon as well. Cannot wait for that one. But of course, we're on a quick off, so you can get to Formula E now.
Absolutely, just waiting for the last cars to cross the line. As Albon goes through, he takes it into 7th. Stroll next. He'll confirm it down the order. Yep, Stroll takes it. Now Russell So we're waiting on Russell, Hamilton and Magnussen, and they're all together. Sonoda has already taken the flag, so he'll be the first to do a practice start. So Russell controls it, Hamilton does too, Magnussen following in as well. End of Group 1. Megan says she's 2 minutes behind. Isn't that just... Okay, that's great news. Thank you, Sky, to come through.
Good.
Right, I'll sort that. Everyone's finished. Here's your results then from the session. We've got Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, Russell, Sainz, Ricciardo, Albon, Hulkenberg, Sonoda, Hamilton the top 10, Leclerc 11th, Bottas, Perez, Alonso, Stroll, Sargent, Zhou, Gasly, Magnussen and Ocon as well. McLaren do a 1-2 in practice 3 with rain incoming. Join us in about 40 minutes time when we're underway for all the action from F2 and their sprint race. My thanks to Roman, thanks to you at home. We'll see you for qualifying shortly. Next up, it's Formula E and their qualifying session. Bye for now. Just quickly, this is Kevin Magnussen. And had a little moment at turn 11 and runs off the track. But he was A-OK. So, we'll see you later for the action from qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix.